So it's funny because like I didn't think that we was even gonna touch on the South at all. You know what I'm saying? In regards to this,
The
but I'm
South
glad we did.
always is gonna. The South always. They don't mess around. They got a Florida, Georgia dude on the same. It's over with. We know too much. Yes, the South. Yes.
Because now, so those things earlier on, I probably did not understand. But when I really started to kind of grasp some things, and honestly, with this album, I still have to listen to it right now to gain more of an understanding, was
Yes.
Dead Prez. Was Dead Prez.
Yes. Yes. They have more than one song, people. Yes. These cats got hits.
I mean,
Maybe they didn't make Billboard, but they got hits. Yes.
their whole first album is a revolutionary blueprint.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That someone, if you really wanted to, as far as because it came out in college for us.
Yeah.
So it was the first time, like, damn, what these dudes talking about? Like, they on some real for real. You know what I'm saying?
Real. These cats reading mad books, son.
They get educated on us.
Super educated. Like you listen to Dead Prez, you got to take a pause and get a Wikipedia. Like, what the hell? What are they referencing? Nah, that's real. I need to go back. I haven't listened to Dead Prez in a while. That album in a long time. I'm gonna go back and listen to it this weekend. Actually.
Yeah. Oh my god! Like, but not only the revolutionary, they're talking about health, relationships, like,
yes,
discipline, psychology. It is. To be honest with you,
discipline.
I still feel like that album could make a comeback today and be an awesome album today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you know what's crazy?
What's up?
Some of their singles got played on Southern radio. So those songs got played on MTV and BET. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was even though it was starting, and I know we're gonna get into this very soon, but there was still a place for that, an accepted place for that. Now I ain't gonna front, that bass line was incredible, so it made it easier to play at the party. I mean, we went to college parties and hip hop would come on, and it was like refreshing. Like, dang, like we really dancing to some revolutionary music right now. I mean, like I said, the bass line, the chorus, everything is perfect about that song, but like it was real, you know what I'm saying? And then the song they did with Jay-Z on the remix. That song.
I forgot about that. I forgot
that song was ridiculous, man. Oh man, what's it called? Grove Street. Street. Let me see. I'm just a brave farter right now. Hell yeah. That's what it was called. Hell yeah.
I forgot they did a remix with Jay-Z.
Yeah. That was. See, I know we were going to talk about Jay-Z, but that was like, it was interesting that he was on it. But
see. Here's the thing about Jay-Z, and I don't know if we discussed that previously. Maybe we did. Even though he's like making intentional decisions to be the mainstream artist that he is, he still had a respectability about those other genres of music.
Yeah.
And he showed love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, Jay-Z has done songs with Talib Kweli and
UGK when they wasn't popping.
Sorry.
They were popping, but not mainstream.
No, they weren't. That was their first. I'm very willing to say that was their first Billboard hit.
Right.
You know, so no. But he was referencing them in songs earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I walk like a pimp, talk like a Mac. Like, oh, you sound like UGK. Oh, let me say another thing. Since we talking about Jay-Z and UGK, that verse that everybody loves on 99 Problems, you know what I'm saying? When he says, not a bitch and sister, not in the bitch and sister having a pussy, but a bitch not having no goddamn sense trying to push me. That is a Bun B line. That is a Bun B line from 99 Problems. Like, put some respect on my cousin's name out here in these streets. I had to check a New York cat really hard one day. You know, he was talking about, this UGK stuff. They alright, da-da-da. If it wasn't for Big Pimpin', nobody would know who they were. And I was like, who's your favorite rapper again? Jay-Z, you know, Jay-Z. And I just like, that's why I quoted that line. I was like, yeah, that came from Touched off Riding Dirty. It's a Bun B line. He just stared at me. I was like, don't do that disrespect. Bun and Pimp again. But anyway, we riding for the South on this pod. If you ain't about this, there's a Joe Budden podcast waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? No, Joe. Honestly, Joe does give it's a very New York slanted pod, and he should be. He's from Jersey, but he does spotlight Southern rap. So I'm just making jokes, but cool. But yeah. But going back to the original topic of social consciousness, like, so how did it? So when you had this Southern group like Goodie Mob, like, how did it make you look at social conscious music differently? Oh no, we're actually talking about Dead Prez. My bad. So with the Dead Prez movement, you know, how did that make you feel, and where do you think hip hop went from there?
So I think with all of this music here, it just makes you stop and think that it's not all about the glitz and glamour that normally takes over the airwaves, whether it's on the radio or the videos. Mm-hmm. You know, it made me show an appreciation for it. Can I say it actually made me change? I would say maybe not right then and there, but it was a continuation and an accumulation of those thoughts for later years that probably made me make different decisions in my life for different things.
That's dope. Yeah. I mean, that's dope. I mean, that's the thing. There just needs to be a balance. Mm-hmm. And I think that around this time of the Dead Prez movement, there was this other thing happening that sort of swallowed a lot of what was going on. And so I know we've skipped over some of the, because like I said, you had Public Enemy and you had Ice Cube, and I definitely want to keep saying Ice Cube. Cause I feel like he doesn't get enough props. I think people say NWA, but when Ice Cube left NWA, the second album didn't have that tone as much as the first album. But Ice Cube kept running and still is running with it. Still is running with the Black empowerment movement. And then this other super entity came in with his own version of Black empowerment and Black revolution. And that's Tupac Shakur. And I don't think we've rebounded. I don't think hip hop has totally rebounded from the loss of Tupac, because he was everything to a lot of people. But he also was like the ultimate jack of all trades. You know, like Pac literally could make you dance, make you want to fall in love, make you want to beat up somebody, and then make you want to start a march start a march in 4 consecutive songs.
Yeah.
Like, and he was just this incredible artist. And a lot of the stuff we talk about, like, Thug Life, The Hate U Give, that's really that's based on stuff Pac was saying. And because he was such a super personality, that I feel like a lot of his message got lost, and I don't think he really rebounded from it. And like, the people who were called the next Tupacs are people who struck an incredible artist right away. I'm about to say an incredible artist, but it was like they only saw one side of it. I remember when DMX was being called the next Tupac, and like DMX definitely checks so many of the boxes, like the realness, the ruggedness, the appeal from the ladies, all that. But I love DMX.
Yeah.
But X wasn't really talking about a lot of progression. That was not that wasn't his role. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And for like I remember then Jeezy. I remember when Jeezy was the next Tupac, and it was still like they saw the realness, this relatability, this street appeal, the women appeal, the ability to make these passionate anthem songs. You know what I'm saying? But especially Jeezy at that time, it still wasn't the progressive nature of some of the stuff Pac was saying. Right. And then because Pac was a walking contradiction. Pac would make "How Do You Want It," you know, and then say "Keep Your Head Up" to the same ladies he was calling. you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just this crazy dynamic with him, you know. Like the next song, it could be "Hit 'Em Up," and then the next song is "Holler If You Hear Me," which is calling for the unity of the right. So it's just he was an interesting artist. He was a conflicted artist. He also was a young artist. He was 24, 25 years old. And I think that's the thing people don't understand. Like, people talk about Pac like he was in his 30s.
Yeah.
Like, I know how confused I was at 24 and 25. And so to be able to be seen as this mouthpiece for a generation, I probably would have been conflicted too. I probably would have been saying conflicting things too. He didn't get a chance to become Jay-Z and make 444.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. And then with the fall of Pac and Biggie, a certain other person became the guy. Well, two people came the guys in two different ways.
Okay.
And I think you know the two people I'm about to say. Do you know two people I'm about to say?
Ooh.
One we've already talked about. That's Jay-Z.
Yes, I was going to say Jay-Z, and I was going to say the other guy is Puffy.
And Puffy. So let's just add, at that time, neither one of them, it turned from consciousness to Black economic empowerment, and I think what they two represented. So how do you feel about that? And do you think that they diminished the mission of Black consciousness, or do you think they just added a different level that we didn't really see at the time?
So I think the seeds of it probably started with quote unquote gangster music.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so fair. Like tide starting to turn.
Okay.
And then I think it didn't evolve into where Jay-Z and Puff Daddy were, where they took it into the whole economics of things and the jiggy and the party scene. Mm-hmm. I can't say. So first of all, I'm going to say this. When I'm not ashamed to say this, at the time I was in high school, Jay-Z was my idol.
Yeah, that's fine.
I wanted to be Jay-Z when I was in high school.
He was super cool, bro. The whole iceberg slim thing he was doing. He was cool, man. He was cool.
And then also too, Biggie was my favorite rapper.
Yes.
At the time.
Same here, yeah. Yeah.
So you had these two things going, and it definitely switched my perspective. At a time, I wanted the platinum watch and the platinum chain because them boys had it. And I wanted to be jiggy just like them. Yes. So probably mentally it kind of like solidified with them, and kind of like definitely consciousness was out the window.
Okay, you know? That's fair. Yeah.
But I think the seeds of it may have started in gangster rap.
Okay.
With your boys like NWA and probably Dre's The Chronic and stuff like that, and Snoop Dogg Doggy Style. You know, I think that's when the tide started to turn right there.
I agree. I agree.
Pac was that, just like you said, he was the whole, and he probably was the centerpiece of the consciousness that we did have at the time, mixed in with his other personalities, and he was just multidimensional, which we are as human beings.
Super multidimensional.
You know, and unfortunately, when you're in the mainstream like that, society really doesn't take multidimensionality that well. They only want either one thing or the other. So,
and fun's gonna win out most of the time.
True.
Just the way it is. Fun and excitement is gonna win out. And it was the hip hop scene and music in general. They twist their mind about gangster rap very quickly when it became profitable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it went from being like y'all ain't gonna get played on the radio. Like, stop the madness. Like, you listen to America's Most Wanted, one of the best songs on there is Turn Off the Radio. And I mean, it's literally Ice Cube talking about, he's literally calling out like DJs and record station staff. Like, he's literally saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear your top 40, your top 30, your top 20, your top 10 until you put more hip hop in. And you're like, and he's talking about, because they all keep pushing that same angle, that, you know what I'm saying, that hit, that love song stuff. And like, he's literally saying this. Like, he's literally begging to be played on the hit, you know. And then the Chronic and Doggy Style hit, you know, 2-3 years later. Yeah. And it's like, Gin and Juice is getting played on a freaking radio station. Like, this is amazing. Gin and Juice.
Hard
is getting played on a radio station. Like, man, y'all don't. St. Ides commercials are out now with your favorite rapper drinking a 40 in the video.
I forgot about St. Ides. I forgot about St. Ides.
And those commercials were hitting. They were all hitting. E40 got a great one. E40 got a great one. Cube got a great one. The Wu-Tang got a great one. Scarface got a great one. Biggie got a great one.
Dude, you brought back memories.
That's how much the light switch just flicked. It was like, oh, we don't want y'all on radio. We don't want y'all on Soul Train. Then all of a sudden, there's like commercials with rappers drinking 40 ounces.
Dude, they would show those St. Ides commercials during black programming. They were hard on BET, dog.
Because once it gets profitable, I hate to be like this, but the man is gonna figure out a way to profit off of it. I try to make it sound nicer, but there's no other way to say it. And for you know it, guess who started to sort of fall off a little bit during this time?
Who's that?
Public Enemy.
Ooh, this is right.
Started to even some of the other acts like Tribe Called Quest, who you may not see as totally revolutionary music, but they really were just in the more hippie, pre-outcasty type of way of trying to make stuff fun and stuff, but they were kicking some real knowledge too.
Right.
They reached their peak in about 95, 96. And now we're making way for, you know, the glamorization of things. All of a sudden, Carl Kanai ain't enough. I gotta wear Versace now, and wear stuff I never even heard of. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened? Like, it's crazy. Like, the Grammys wouldn't play us back in. Next thing you know, it's the 90s, and there's full-fledged Tommy Hilfiger ads with Aaliyah and other hip hop people.
Right.
And so, like, once the markets figure out something's profitable, and I just think hip hop has never changed from that, you know.
And so that begs the question now: who really is the revolutionary person now, or the more conscious? And I can say it's tough for me because I'm stuck in TikTok land, you know. So is there someone out there who still kind of is giving some sort of balance?
So, I mean, we have a very prime example, a guy who's won multiple Grammys, a guy that is a first tier MC in quality and lyrics and in mainstream appeal. That's Kendrick Lamar. So Kendrick Lamar is, so I'm about to say something controversial. Kendrick Lamar is seen as the top revolutionary MC. But Big Krit to me is the better representation of the revolutionary MC.
I think I would agree with that, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And like, this is not to diss Kendrick, because I saw Kendrick in 2010 before he was Kendrick Lamar.
Like, you put me on Kendrick. I remember you telling me, like, yo, you need to listen, because I was asking you, like, yo, who should I, like, really listen to now? You know what I'm saying? You just like, Kendrick Lamar. And it was because of you, I started listening to his, I think it was his first mixtape, the one where, he had the song with MC8, I think it was.
MC8 was on MC8 was actually on Good Kid, Mad City. His first it's not his first album, but his first popular album.
His first popular, got it.
But so I think I put you on Section 80.
On Section 80, I think it was that. Yeah. You put me on it, and I was
which was very more progressive, which was a very super progressive album where he really was talking about issues and stuff.
And I was like, who is this? Yeah. And he wasn't getting that much radio play. He wasn't getting no radio play. None.
An Aftermath Interscope contract will do wonders for you. And the cosign from Dr. Dre. Like, that Dr. Dre cosign, we can talk about it. DOC, Snoop, Corrupt, M, Game, Kendrick Lamar. That Dr. 50 to a low extent because he had the Eminem stamp too. That Dr. Dre stamp ain't no joke.
But I'm happy for Kendrick because
super happy.
He still evolved as an artist.
Yeah. Like he is. I mean, this dude pretty much curated the Black Panther soundtrack. Like, I mean, he is the alternative, along with another artist that I'm about to mention, J. Cole. They are the alternatives to Drake and Future. You know what I'm saying? Because like J. Cole and Drake are super mainstream artists. And J. Cole, probably more than Kendrick. I mean, they both spit a lot of progressive things. Krit, J. Cole had Jay-Z. J. Cole's been on Rock Nation for a long time, so he got that stamp. Krit just never got that stamp, and this is my bias. I feel like Krit's music is not as accessible as the other two. What I mean about that, that's what I mean by accessible, because I think that music sort of makes accessibility be the super positive thing. But inaccessibility to me always just means like you gotta really listen. Like Kendrick made All Right, and like I guarantee you most people don't know a single lyric from that song. But I'm gonna be all right. I'm humble. Like be humble. Like Kendrick can do that, man. You know what I'm saying? And J. Cole has done that too in a lot of songs. Whereas Krit stuff is hella Southern. Like he from Mississippi, that you could tell. Like this is AT-aliens riding dirty, space age forever ish.
Yeah.
And so like most people who I know are really into Krit are people who really grew up, who really were into the people I just said. You know what I'm saying? Like my sister's in the Krit, my cousins are in the Krit, but my cousins also in the 8-Ball MJG, and they're also in the UGK, and they're also in the Outkast and the Goodie Mob. You know what I'm saying? And Scarface. So to them, it's like, oh, this is my this is the guy carrying that banner. And speaking of banner, I can't mention country music in the South without mentioning the great David Banner as well. I want to make sure I put him out there too, because he has been carrying the flag. But also, and he's talked about this, it's like he's trying to balance like a pimp. You know what I'm saying? With songs like My Uzi, which you're talking about, revolutionary thinking. And so it's just hard. Like you gotta try to pay the bills. And also you want to have some fun. You want to be ignorant. You want to talk about getting girls at the club. And so you can't be all one thing. But yeah. They are artists. They're artists. I mean, we talk about Krit, Kendrick, J. Cole, Rapsody. If you're not on Rapsody, please get on the Rapsody. Rapsody is an incredible MC. And I'm only just saying that just so people look up the right way. There's a woman. Yeah, she's freaking ridiculous. Out of Carolina. She is stupid dope. Her last album, Eve, she actually names every song after a Black female hero. So there's a song named after Oprah. There's a song named after Harriet. There's a song named after Afeni Shakur. And each one of those songs talk. So the Oprah song is about, your money, being responsible with your money. You know what I'm saying? And then the Afeni song is about, like love and, motherhood. Please, check it out.
I didn't hear about her, honestly, until last year. She was on the Breakfast Club. That was the first time I ever heard of her.
Okay.
And just listen to a couple of her songs, you can appreciate an MC who's trying to be an artist, who's trying to put some thought into their body of work. Yeah. And that's what seems like she's doing, Yeah. Like she had this joint where I think they were in Brooklyn or Harlem, the video, and then she had, the Muslim woman still being fly.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. While still rocking her fancy name brand designer stuff. It's just kind of like showing that dynamic and that artistry.
Yeah.
It was just, I appreciated where she was coming from.
You're talking about I'm going to mispronounce the song, but it's Ibatage. Ibatage. Yeah. Man, hey, Raps, if you see this, I apologize for mispronouncing this. Yeah. I didn't want to say it without, because I knew what song you're talking about, but me even reading the title didn't help. So yeah, I know you're talking about.
Appreciate that, So
good stuff, man.
It's funny how I would say J. Cole and Kendrick are probably the most considered lyrical in the business right now, top lyrical MCs.
Mm-hmm.
Big Krit still doesn't get the shine that he deserves.
But he better than both of them. And I put that on everything I love. Krit is a better lyricist than both of them. To me. And I'll put that on there. Like, kick those, please just ignore me. If you so upset right now, just listen to Frito, mute me if you don't listen to pod. But I feel like we're going to have this talk about lyricism very soon and who we think is a great lyricist. I think Kendrick and Cole are both incredible lyricists, top tier, to me, especially top tier for this time. And I think even in the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't put I know I wouldn't put Kendrick below the second tier. And I'd have a hard time putting J. Cole lower than that tier too. But I think that Krit is on that same tier with them. I think at the most they're even, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't think the gap between them is so much that if someone was like, oh, Kendrick and Krit, and they just said Krit doesn't belong at that level, I would be they're on the same level of emceeing. And I argue, I'm a big content person.
Yeah.
Krit has the incredible amount of content that it takes to me, because sometimes you can just rap for rapping. That's my dog, but be rapping for rapping a lot. Like the flows there and the multi syllables, the multi interline rhymes. When someone can rhyme within the same bar multiple times. Technically, the Eminem, I think, is the best technical rapper that I have ever heard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like Rakim is a god level technical rapper. Pun technical rapper. The art of making bars and rhymes count are incredible. But content has to come along. Content has to be a part of that too. So if you're rapping to rap and being super technical, I respect that. I'm riding with it. I love it. But I would sacrifice some of that technical expertise for content. You know what I'm saying? That's me. You know what I'm saying? I know not everybody feels that way. And that's why hip hop is great, because people have their things they listen for and what makes them think someone is a great MC. And so, but I say that because there's somebody like Scarface, for example, who I know people like. He's not a great technical rapper. He's not, but the content, those lines, they count. And so if it's okay, I'm going to transition to one more group that I want to talk about social content, and that's Run the Jewels, Killer Mike and LP. What I know we talked a little bit about this, but you're saying that you're not. I don't know if you listened to some of their new stuff yet. I know we talked about this on the last
Yeah,
pod.
so I've listened to their very first album, which, if you guys have not listened to it yet, it is definitely some conscious music in there. Like, I was surprised how good the album was, to be quite honest with you. And I haven't heard their latest albums, but the first album that I heard, I was like, okay, Killer Mike came through with it, and your boy, I forgot his name, please pardon me.
LP,
thank you.
LP, El Producto.
They just was dropping some knowledge through their music, man. And it was some energy music too. It gets you pumped up.
Yeah. What they've done is I would call them the kids of Public Enemy. Mixed with some Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine.
Thank you. Rage Against the Machine mixed with some Goodie Mob and Outkast.
Okay.
And so you have LP, who's Brooklyn, and if you're not familiar with LP has been around for a long time. LP is a white guy, very important. He came up with the group Company Flow and became a solo artist. Later, he has some of the best. LP's a hard listen if you listen to stuff that we listen to a lot, because his flow is not smooth. It's not a smooth flow. You know what I'm saying? So you realize a lot of the New York artists that have staying power or got blew up in the South, they had a very smooth, relatable flow. So you talk about the Maces, the Biggies, even the 50s, the Jay-Z's, of course. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I almost left out Jay-Z. Whereas I know people who don't like Nas because they don't like the way he raps. You're like, oh, it's not as clean. Well, LP ain't that clean. You know what I mean? He's not Rakim. He's not Jay. So if you can get past that, he says some of the greatest things. I want to spotlight a couple just of lines from. We talked about this song last time, Walking in the Snow, but I want to just point out just a couple lines that LP and Killer say in just this one song. Funny fact about a cage, they never built for just one group. So when that cage is done with them and you're poor, it'll come for you. And I was like, wow. And then just a couple. So remember that cage reference. So a couple lines later, he goes, pseudo Christians, y'all indifferent, kids in prisons ain't a sin. If even one scrap of what Jesus taught connected, you'd feel different. When I first heard this song a couple of weeks ago, as soon as they put it up on the streaming services, I'm working out. I'm doing my little workout, trying to stay sexy out here, for my wife, you know what I'm saying? So I put this on while I was doing my steps, and I had almost tripped over the step when I heard those lines. I was like, oh my God. That's crazy. That's that real. It's incredible. It's really incredible of consciousness music doesn't mean weak. It doesn't mean, but that's some real challenging stuff to say about this current system. You know what I'm saying? And then Killer in the same song. So in the same song, they promise education, but really give you tests and scores. And they predict in prison population by who's scoring the lowest. And usually the lowest scores the poorest, and they look like me. And every day on evening news, they feed you fear for free. And you so numb, you watch the cops choke out a man like me until my voice goes from a shriek to whisper, I can't breathe. And you sit there in your house and couch and watch it on TV. The most you give is a Twitter rant and call it a tragedy. But truly the travesty, you've been robbed of your empathy, replaced with apathy. I wish you could magically fast forward to the future so then you could face it and see how fucked up it'll be. I promise I'm honest, they coming from you the day after they come from me.
Wow.
I want you to understand that it probably sounds like they wrote this yesterday. This album got released a month ago. They wrote this last year. That is conscious music. That's power. It's not weak. I promise you the beat is crazy. So if you want to listen to it, Walking in the Freaking Snow. The whole RTJ4 album is just ridiculous. But there is a market for this. And let me put this out there. Lil Baby, who is one of the top most mainstream artists right now, he put out a song that's a conscious song a couple weeks ago, and it's been killing. It's been doing great. And I will say that in my world, I did see a lot of. It's called The Bigger Picture. If you want to check it out, it's got trust me, you're not gonna have trouble finding it. It's like probably got 80 million views. It's a very popular song. It's basically in comparison to the song I just said before it. And I heard people say like, oh, they get on the bandwagon, like there's Kendricks and Krits and Run the Jewels and J. Cole's and Rapsodies, they out there. Y'all ain't boosting their songs up like this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm glad Lil Baby made the song. Because you know what? Not everybody was Public Enemy that made these songs. I want y'all to go back and listen to Self-Destruction. Are in the same game. And these were collaborative songs. These were songs where the East Coast did their version, the West Coast did their version. Once again, Self-Destruction and All in the Same Gang. All in the Same Gang featured Eazy-E, MC Ren, Dr. Dre, MC Hammer, Digital Underground, aka Humpty Hump, King T, Young MC, Busta Move Dude. That's a Hammer already. MC Hammer on the song. And they're literally talking about, let's stop this gang violence in LA. The East Coast did their version called Self-Destruction, and it was Dougie Fresh, Heavy D, MC Light, Chuck D, KRS-One, Stetsasonic. Like, and notice what if you remember the name of the song, Self-Destruction, these weren't anti-police songs. These were of telling us to do it. Social consciousness is not just the police and the systems. It's also our role in loving and helping each other. And so that's part of social consciousness too. And so I hope that I hope that this pod gives you some insight or makes you want to check out some artists that we said or some stuff that we didn't say. This is not a one-off. We'll continue to do these things. One person I did not mention, I'm reserving this conversation for a later conversation when we have our New York conversation. We hope to have a pod where we talk about, I don't want to call it the fall of New York hip hop, but we definitely want to show the transition of what made New York no longer hold the mainstream crown. And one very central figure that is 50 Cent. So I want to reserve that conversation for that one. But Fred, I'll turn it back over to you, man.
Yo, man, it's been some great conversation here.
Yo, yeah. I know it was a little serious. I know this was a little bit more serious than the last pod, but
listen, man, we just go where it takes us.
Yeah,
and man. I'm happy with that.
No doubt. What
I'm gonna go into next is what we're going to talk about for the next show.
Yo, we got a surprise for y'all. One series that Frito and I last year in 2019 took up a lot of our time, a lot of our dialogue was the Wu-Tang series. I feel comfortable calling it semi-biographical representation of the Wu-Tang. It's on Hulu. And so what we're going to do, we're going to revisit that. And we're actually going to do a episode by episode reflection, review, recap, whatever you want to call it for each one of the episodes. So the next pod, we will review episode 1 from the Wu-Tang series. So go ahead and please check that out, especially before you check out episode 3. And we're just going to sprinkle those in. So, sprinkle those in within our podcast. I'm really excited to talk about it. Of course, we're not just going to talk about the episodes because we can never stay on topic. That's not the point. These are conversations. So you're definitely going to get some. That's also why we've been holding back a lot of Wu-Tang talk because trust me. We got I know we from the South, the dirty, But we do consider ourselves some Wu heads, so we'll be sprinkling a lot of Wu-Tang stories, Wu-Tang album conversations, song conversations, and go from there.
Yeah. Bet that up. Thank you, Willie. Thank you to everyone out there. Please, guys, if you do want to check us out, you can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. The handle is Frito and Willie. Holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying? Thank you very much for listening, and we greatly appreciate it. For all of y'all, we out.
All right, man.